Are you wanting to scale your business with digital products? I'm Becky Beach, and I've grown $1 million digital product empire that earns me passive income while I sleep, eat, and play. Join me each week as we grow our digital product businesses together. This is the Becky Beach Show. Well, hey, welcome to the Becky Beach Show. I'm Becky Beach, and today's guest is Amanda Boggs. She's the CEO of Mandoline and the founder of host of the Online Income Playbook Summit. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm one of the featured speakers on Amanda's summit, the Online Income Playbook Summit, and we'll have a link to it in the show notes at beckybeachshow.com. Well, Amanda, could you tell us about yourself?
Yes, I have been working from home for the past 25 years. I started my business in 1998, really kind of accidentally. What happened to me was my husband was in an accident at work when I was pregnant with our oldest son, and we just bought our first house. And he became disabled and was home on disability for 3 months, and we were losing $600 a month that he'd been
Oh,
making
no, yeah.
over. And I didn't get paid maternity leave. So all of a sudden, I had to come up with thousands and thousands of dollars, and I didn't know what to do. I was working as an illustrator and graphic designer for a publishing company. So at first, I started taking freelance jobs, writing. I'm also a writer, writing and illustrating for people. And then eBay was new, so I started trying to sell on eBay. So I would work all day, and I would then at night come home and work on the computer. And the internet was new then, too. So it was this big new thing, and I was trying everything I could to make money from it. And so at that time, you had to be able to code to list on eBay. So it took me a couple years to actually teach myself how to code. I used library books to teach myself to code. And I started selling on eBay. And at first I was trying to sell my artwork because I'm a fine artist as well. And it just wasn't selling. Nothing was really selling. My son was born, and then I would have like outgrown baby clothes and things, and those would sell a little, but they weren't doing great. And then one day I went to help my grandparents clean out their closets, and we found a bag with a bunch of broken dolls in it that were my mother's
Oh,
dolls from the 50s. And I thought I'll fix these dolls for my mom. So I was on eBay trying to bid on dolls that were broken, but I needed like a half of a leg and some eyes for this Betsy McCall doll. And I kept getting outbid, and these dolls that were broken were selling for more than anything I'd ever sold. And I thought, I wonder what these are worth if they're not broken. And it turns out they're worth a lot of money. So I taught myself to repair dolls, and I started buying boxes of dolls and selling them, like fixing them up and then selling them on eBay. And then people started asking me how I had fixed them. So I started to write a blog telling people how I'd fixed dolls. And then people from all over the world started sending me their dolls to fix. So then I had this doll hospital. And then people wanted to get the supplies I use. So I started to sell doll supplies. And it just got kind of bigger and bigger through the years. And that's my main source of income. I do some other things, but dolls are my main source. Although over the past few years, I've transitioned more to like teaching people how to repair dolls. So I have courses and ebooks and instructions, and I sell doll supplies that come with tutorials showing you how to use the supplies. So like you can buy a pair of doll eyes, and then I'll send you a tutorial that shows you how to install them. So
Oh, that's really neat.
yeah. And then in the course of learning to teach people to repair their dolls, I found that I'm actually a really good teacher. I'm good at it. I have more than 4,000 positive reviews, and they're for the most part about doll repair. People that I've taught people all over the world to repair their dolls. And so I've started getting more into coaching, not just how to do doll repair, but how to start a business the way I did, because I didn't start a business. I didn't get a business loan. I didn't get a business license. I didn't have any money. I used what I had, which was a sales platform, and just started selling. And so that's something that I feel very passionate about. I'm very passionate about helping people start their own businesses and get away from the corporate grind if that is what they want, because this has enabled me to stay home with all three of my children now. And so I started the Online Income Playbook Summit, which is going to air in August, from August 4th to August 17th. And I have a lot of amazing experts who've been running their businesses for a long time, like Becky here. So
Mhm.
it's just, I can't believe how much I've learned from interviewing all of these experts. It's really been amazing. It's an amazing experience.
Oh yeah, I agree because there is lots of people out there that are working corporate and they're worried because AI is really getting integrated in their jobs. Like these employees, employers are introducing AI and sometimes laying off um, entire sectors of the business. Like it's happened. I keep hearing about it over and over. So there's all these people wanting to be able to differentiate themselves in the age of AI, or even start their own business like we have.
Mhm. Or make a side, even a side business. For about 18 months, my business was just a side hustle. And then I was able to make enough that I could start staying home with my son.
Mhm. Well, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you could differentiate yourself and make yourself useful in the age of AI. Because some people may be losing their jobs as AI is being introduced. So I'm just so glad that Amanda has been able to join us today. We have so much to talk about. So, Amanda, what kind of jobs do you think will disappear because of AI?
Well, I think already a lot of jobs are disappearing. Information jobs that I know I can't, I just read an article about it yesterday. Amazon, I think, they've laid off a whole lot of people, like
Hmm.
thousands of people, I think, because they're using AI to do what it was that they were doing. Things like data entry and um, I guess in the case of Amazon, probably certain customer service tasks, I would imagine they've taken over. And so things like that, clerical things that AI can easily do, I would say not so much physical jobs.
Yeah, yes, they have used robots for the physical jobs too, like the stocking. Like I saw a video of all these robots just like stocking, areas in the warehouse, and then there was like people kind of managing the robots. I was like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe this kind of thing's already here. Like I didn't think this would happen in my lifetime with all these robots because that's something you watch like on in these movies.
I did see the other day a robot that's an electrical lineman.
Hmm.
And I was sharing that with my husband because that's actually the job my husband had that almost killed him.
Oh
So
no, yeah.
not, that's a dangerous job. So it might not be so bad if robots were able to take over really dangerous jobs such as those. But it is, you do have to think, what are you going to do now? And I went through this not with AI, but with the actual internet when I was working in publishing. All of the publishing companies started to go out of business because the internet was new and it was putting them out of business. It used to be that publishing companies had these huge staffs. They would have a staff illustrator, they would have a staff photographer, like pretty much every little magazine, every little newspaper in every little town. There were many jobs that went away because of the internet. There was one
Yeah.
called stripping was an actual job that where the magazines and newspapers they would burn a metal plate and then they would print the plate onto these clear plastic, like this huge, like a signature. So a signature is 8 pages of a magazine. So it's this enormous piece of paper, and they would do this clear printing of the magazine, and then that is what they would use to. It's hard to explain. Like it was like a photo thing that they would burn it onto the paper,
Hmm.
basically, and or burn it onto the plate and then print it onto the paper. And it was these huge web presses. And so what the stripper would do was take the clear plastic and like if a business say had changed their address or they changed their phone number, they would have to take an X-Acto knife and cut the little piece of plastic out and put a new piece of plastic printed with the new number in, and then you would tape it like with clear tape, and they would use that to burn the plate. So that was like a whole job that just went away. That
Oh, yeah, I can see. I wonder what those people end up doing when that job went away. What do you think?
Right. Well, in my case, I became a doll doctor.
Oh, so you were doing that?
We didn't have a dedicated stripper at our publishing company. We would all have to do it. So I was a graphic designer, and it was a very small company. I was also, sometimes I would take over for the editors since I had an English degree also. Sometimes I would do illustrations. I was the receptionist also for a while. So when it was time to do the stripping, we would take we had a big area in the middle of the office, and we would put up a big folding table, and we'd put the signatures out, and
Hmm.
everybody had to work on it. But mostly the people in the design department.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad that that job went away. It sounds like a lot of stress. I would think, having to do that, and it's very tedious sounding work. But I guess some people did enjoy it.
It was really only stressful when you were going to press. So when you're working on a publication, there's a whole lot of just sitting around doing not much of anything while they try to sell the publication. Like it depends on if you are working for a subscription-based publication or one that is the income's ad-based. But either way, they have to sell a certain number of ads or a certain number of subscriptions. So if you're on the design staff or the writing staff, you're just kind of sitting around waiting for them to sell enough to make it worth the price to print the publication.
Hmm.
And then it would go to press, and then it was working all day, like not like you could hardly even get up off your desk to go eat lunch or anything. Like you would just be working, working, working to get it to the press.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, earlier we were talking about dolls, because
Yeah.
we're both, doll collectors, and we both, like I actually sell dolls myself. Well, in that relation, Mattel, the hot toy company that sells Barbie, well, they let out 30% of their workforce. A lot of them designers. There's this one designer that I love called Bill Greening, and he
Mhm.
was a popular designer for 25 years. He designed many of the Barbies that I love, and he was laid off. And then Mattel announced a partnership with OpenAI. They're going to introduce a lot more AI into their doll creation and package design and doll designing.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how people receive that. I
Mhm.
think that Meta put so much money into AI, and it's been like a really big disappointment, I think, as far as the adoption by the actual clients of Meta. People
Mhm.
aren't really signing on for it as much as I guess they thought they would. And then there's also, the fact that somebody's got to be training these AIs and making sure is, especially in the case of design, that they aren't plagiarizing, because that's an enormous problem currently with any of the AI-based image generators. They are
Mhm.
using sometimes even pulling artist signatures into the work. They're just stealing
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
work. And so that right there is going to be a job, I think, for somebody to have to make sure that the stuff they're coming up with is actually original and it isn't plagiarized from art that they scraped off the internet.
Yeah, because Disney and a bunch of other media companies are suing Midjourney because they've been putting, Disney characters and Star Wars characters and Marvel characters in the AI, and now Midjourney has the AI video, so now people can make their own videos of Star Wars characters, and they're not receiving any payment, like for those licensed characters. So that there's
Right.
been a big
No payment.
lawsuit. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and it also can really damage your brand. If you make a video that's really bad with, or really morally corrupt, and you're using somebody else's character, that can really be damaging to their brand. So you definitely want to be able to protect your brand. And I think a lot of small artists are having a lot of trouble with that because they don't have the means to file lawsuits against these big AI companies.
Yeah, there's also been these awful people that are making videos of like Disney characters, like princesses, and having them do risque things such as,
Yeah,
do drugs or
yeah,
whatnot, and then putting them on YouTube for children
right,
with the
right.
AI video. So it's like, yeah, it's a very serious problem against someone's copyrighted character they spent millions developing.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if Mattel is actually able to make a a case financially once they try this. I think that they might be jumping the gun a little bit in terms of laying people off now because I don't know. I don't. It's not. I don't pretend to be an AI expert by any means, but
Mhm.
you know, just from what I've seen, I haven't seen the level of skill yet there. Like I was telling you earlier, I have been making just for my own content creation an AI twin of myself. It just
Mhm.
helps me. I can create a whole lot of videos and photos and use them in my social media. It saves me a lot of time filming content. And obviously then I don't have to hire a camera person or anything, but some of the photos and videos are really weird. Like some of the images are really kind of frightening, actually.
Oh
And
yes.
some of the things you have to, I found you can only use it for about, I don't know, like 15 minutes and it'll do okay. And then it'll start, the image quality will start degrading and they'll start to just be really strange things. Like all of a sudden it'll be a good picture, but I've got an extra hand or something or
No,
a
oh, yeah, I've seen some of the like because Gemini has the VO3,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
saw some videos of that. And you're right, like when the people are talking on the video, their hands are like doing all kinds of weird things, like the fingers are like morphing into each other, and you could tell that it's fake, but on first glance, it looks like it could be real. But then when you see their hands and stuff moving around about them, then you could immediately tell that something's off.
Yes, yes. It's not, the photos are really, really good for the most part, although even those after, it's like it gets tired. I don't know. It it'll do really well at first, and then it's like the image quality just really starts to break down. So I just don't, I don't know. I don't see it being there quite yet. Like I don't feel like it's quite ready yet for mass consumption.
Mhm.
Unless you've got somebody, and then you're going to have a big team of people to correct all of this stuff because, um, you couldn't release these things to the market yet without a lot of input from a human.
Yeah, it's so true. There's been a lot of talk about, AI by influencers, not AI influencers, but just influencers in general, like on YouTube and Instagram, and how AI is going to overtake those influencers, even those people that make OnlyFans content, like the AI is going to be overtaking them because the OnlyFans CEO, he's now selling OnlyFans because he sees this happening that he's not going to be able to make as much money because the AI is coming along and it's going to completely disrupt these influencers because they're going to be right now there's even AI influencers making all kinds of money.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I think when these things happen, and in this case, it's going to be harder because it's so many industries at once.
Hmm.
It What happened in the publishing industry was you had to embrace the internet and you had to embrace digital printing. And the companies that didn't went out of business, and the companies that embraced it did not. They stayed in business. And there was a smaller workforce in terms of not needing all these special little jobs like the stripper, people like that. However, the internet opened up an enormous amount of opportunity for new types of jobs that didn't exist before, such as, when I was starting to sell on eBay, that was brand new. And at that time too, I used an internet site to find freelance gigs. That was brand new. Like I was one of the, really early adopters, more out of necessity than anything else, but it had made an enormous opportunity. And so I think that it's important to think about AI the same way. There are going to be losses, but there are probably also going to be opportunities that at the moment we can't even imagine the scope of them yet. I know that I couldn't imagine in 1998 the things that I do now just as a on a daily basis, things I don't even think about. Like my
Hmm.
husband and I were watching an old movie the other night. And I don't even remember what movie it was, but it was a movie from the 90s. And I was like, why don't they just call that person and tell them. And then I thought, oh, they don't have a cell phone.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of
Like,
sense.
like the whole situation wouldn't have even happened now because now you would be able to text somebody or call them or, you know, message them somehow in whatever, like I can't even remember now what it was, but the whole situation would have been avoidable in this day and age. So I think that, you know, it can be really scary when these big technologies come and they change everything. But I think you also have to be focusing on how can I make an opportunity out of this new thing? And if you're one of the early people thinking that way, that gives you an enormous advantage over people that are just scared of it or just ignoring it because they're worried about it.
Yeah, so true. Because when it first came out, I was actually using AI when I was working at Verizon. We were
Hmm.
doing machine learning. It was mostly called machine learning back then. So I was used to it even back then. And this is like around like 20 like 16 or 2017, and I was using machine learning and helping the AI repair servers by itself so that it didn't have to rely on break fix technicians. So then when ChatGPT came out, it's like when I quit my job at American Airlines, I was a web developer. Then I immediately embraced the AI because I saw how useful it was. And I was kind of glad I quit my job because it could code too. Like I realized it could code because I actually, made it do it. I was like, wow, that thing can code. Wow, it can make HTML pages and, scripting just like what I used to be able to do. And it can code even better than I can. So there's a lot of people that are coders that are now out of work because of the AI. But you need to really embrace it and like use it like to help you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it is enormously helpful is in terms of time savings. You know, if you're a solopreneur, which I hire my kids are old enough now that I can hire them for certain things and I do, but they're visiting my parents this week, so they're not home. So I've been relying a lot more on different AI tasks just to help me get everything done that I need to get done.
Yeah, it's very useful for solopreneurs. It gives you more of a lean business model. You don't have to hire a whole bunch of people because a lot of solopreneurs can't afford to hire so many people. And because they can't afford it, they end up not being able to scale. Like AI has helped me be able to scale to like 100,000 a month because I
Right.
don't have to hire too many people. I have like one full-time VA. I have like a part-time VA. I have like maybe like yeah, four contractors, and I have someone doing my social media management. And so I also have AI helping me with my marketing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And also if you just beyond not having enough money, the time aspect of it. I really value especially the older I get, the more I value my time and time off and being able to
Hmm.
just live my life. You know, when you have children, everybody tells you, oh, it goes so fast. And you can realize that to some extent, but at the same time, like you really can't realize it until my oldest son, this baby that I left my job because I wanted to be home with him, he's going to get married in a few months, you
Hmm.
know, and it does not seem possible that he's that old already. And so, you know, I only have one child left at home. My daughter full time. My daughter's in college, so she's home right now for the summer, but it it goes so fast. And the older I get, the more I would really rather just be with my family than working.
Yeah, same here. I was able to take 2 weeks off this month. Like I went to San Francisco for a speaking mastermind. And the
Uh-huh.
next week, I went to Disney World with my son. And, I didn't lose any income at all. Because at
Yeah.
the beginning of the month, I had my AI assistant, his name's Spark. I had him make me a schedule of what to do for 2 weeks, to do everything I needed to do in my business before I left. So everything was taken care of. All the tasks were delegated. He even told me who to give each task to and what to do for them. And I put it all on the Trello board, organize it. And then that was done so that I could take off 2 weeks of vacation without having to worry about my business.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what,
just amazing what it can do. People actually utilize it, are not afraid of it.
right. And I think that's a big thing, being afraid of it. Because I mean, and there's been a lot of in the news lately of really fearful writing about it. Um, and so it's hard, but I think you have to really have that mindset of I'm going to embrace this early and then I'll come out on top because I'll be up with all the changes. I think that's the biggest, really the biggest thing I've learned being in business for 25 years is you have to stay up with whatever technology, like whatever the new technology is, you've got to learn it, whether you feel like you're a tech person or not. You have to learn it. You have to learn to make use of it for yourself and for your business. And that's going to put you ahead of people that don't, quite frankly.
Yeah, that was so true. That's like brings us to our next talking point, how AI can't replace people because if they, actually hook on the AI and make it work for them, and plus they bring a lot more to the table that the AI can do. Like humans can bring lived experience, empathy, intuition. These are like human superpowers that AI cannot replicate.
Right. Well, and even I'm trying right now to train a custom GPT as a doll repair coach so that
Oh,
when I'm
neat.
not available, because I have people, I mean, that's like one of the main things I do is answer emails from people about how to repair their dolls. And right now, um, I'm really having to work hard on this GPT because the information that it gives initially, in a lot of cases, will just ruin your doll. I don't even know where it's coming up with this stuff. Like,
Hmm?
it's not anything it's read on in my blog for sure, and it's not anything I've seen people saying on the internet. I don't know where it's coming up with it. So that's a case where a human absolutely has to be involved, or your dolls are all going to be ruined because the
Mhm.
stuff it's telling you to do is just not feasible.
Yeah, sometimes it will hallucinate and say just weird off the wall things. It does that even when it codes. So all these people are surprised when they try to make apps with the AI
Yeah,
and they're surprised that it's not working. Well, it's because it hallucinates the code and gives code that doesn't make any sense.
yeah. Yes, it can make a lot of mistakes, and that's why I'm surprised at the companies that are laying people off so early because I just feel like this is not going to go well. It's not going to be well received by the public. It's already irritating enough. So many places have gone to chatbots instead of customer service representatives who are human. And the chatbots are sometimes helpful, but I would say probably at least 50% of the time, they don't, whatever I'm asking it to do, it's saying it doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, it's really sad. I have a family member, like I don't want to get too into detail who it is, but I have a family member and what happened was she was responsible for helping to train these AI bots because she was a call center, works at a call center, and they trained the AI bots, and then when they everybody felt they were trained enough, they laid her off.
Yeah,
So she had to find another job, and at the time she had a new baby and a toddler.
yeah,
It's just like ridiculous what's going on here. And now they get all these complaints, and they end up hiring a lot of people back that they laid off because of all the complaints of the AI.
yes, I see that. I can totally see that happening
Hmm.
because it's not there yet, at least not that I've seen. And again, I'm not an AI expert, but just using it for myself, there are lots and lots of things that I would not release to the public yet. And they absolutely need a human to be working on them still.
Yeah, it's just really useful to actually have a person because everybody when they're like calling a credit card company or on like a customer service number, they're like wondering when they're going to get to a person because like I guess some of the queries can be answered with the AI, but then you just want to get to a person. Like for instance, like I battle a disability and then I need my medicine, so sometimes I can't get my medicine refilled because I don't remember what the prescription number is. Like all these AIs need this specific number to be able to refill your prescription. But I need to get to an actual person to refill my prescriptions because I don't keep track of my prescription numbers. I throw the bottle away as soon as I'm done with it.
Right, right. Yeah, it's hard. Well, and I had an ear infection a couple months ago. I had this double ear infection, and so I was on amoxicillin. And then you take your course of antibiotics and you stop and you don't need them anymore. But the computer at the doctor's office and the computer at the pharmacy refilled that amoxicillin. And then I was getting all these robocalls from the pharmacy over and over and over. My prescription's ready, my prescription's ready. And it's not a prescription that I need. It wasn't a prescription that the doctor had refilled. Like it didn't even have a refill on it. So I don't even know how that happened. But it was calling me several times a day, this robot telling me to pick up my prescription. And I finally had to go over there and be like, I don't need this prescription anymore.
Hmm.
This is antibiotics. It was a short-term thing. And as soon as I could talk to a human, then it was fixed. But I had to go over there and talk to them instead of just, you know, being able to live my life at home.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Well, I think that the roles that are like hybrid roles, people that use AI will really explode during this time because there's a lot of like unrest because people are thinking their jobs are going to be replaced. And these are mostly people that have like really kind of easy to use, like automated jobs that can be easily automated, like white collar type, like paralegals, junior copywriters, analysts, anything rules based is it's mostly fair game when it comes to AI to overtake it. So if those people adopt AI and make use of it, like such as prompt engineering, like ethics for AI, UX design for AI tools, automation consultants, AI content strategists, AI coaches or trainers, like those kind of people are going to keep their jobs.
You're right, right. And you can even make a business out of it. I have noticed on Fiverr now, there are people that will make an AI twin for you if you want to keep, stay anonymous online. There are people that will make AI images of you for your blog or for your website, like a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of jobs to be had because everybody's thinking about the jobs that are going away. But just like the Industrial Revolution took away a lot of jobs and made new ones.
right, exactly. And I think that's where the focus should be. And I found an article, this was a few weeks ago, but it listed all the jobs, all the new jobs that are coming because of AI specifically. And it was a huge list of new jobs. And I sent it to my daughter because she's a computer science major. And I was like, these are the things you should be looking into right now. Like, be looking into this aspect of where computer stuff is going because this is going to be what's opening up when you're out in the workforce.
Oh, it was really great of you to do for her. Because there's all these people saying, "Oh, well, computer science like it's useless because everybody's hiring AI to do the coding now, or hiring H1B people from India or elsewhere to do the coding, and it's really hard for a junior developer to break in."
Yeah, I hope that with all my kids, they've all had, I never hired a nanny. So I've never had a nanny. And once I got my son home with me, I felt like I had missed so much. I didn't want to miss anymore. So I can count on one hand the times that they've had to go to a babysitter. There have been times when I just couldn't, like, I just absolutely had to have somebody watch them. But for the most part, I've been with them every day and they're with me. So they watch me run my business and they help me from when they were really little, even like shipping physical products. They can help tape, they can help pack. Um, they can bring me even a 2-year-old can like get something out of the printer and bring it to you, stuff like that. So they've been right there with me watching, and I hope that that has instilled the entrepreneurial spirit in them and the idea that they don't have to just do whatever they're told by some corporation. They can make their own future, they can make their own business, they can start their own company, or they can look for a company that's doing the kind of things they want to do and go find a job doing that.
Well, that's really great. Like bringing that up, my son and I self-published this book. We used AI to help us write it, and we helped made AI to help us make this picture.
No, I love
And it's a
that.
book. It's like for those like preteen kids. So it's kind of
Uh-huh.
thin. It's like an easy reader.
Uh-huh.
Like the language isn't very difficult to read. It's like for younger children, like in the tweens.
Yes.
So this is the first book, and we're going to do a series of this book if it does well.
Awesome. And so, did you self-publish it or did you find a publisher?
Oh, yes, we self-publish it on draft2digital.com. So go to draft and then the number two digital. And
Uh-huh.
draft to digital will help you format the book, and it
Hmm.
will send it to Barnes and Noble, Amazon, like a whole bunch of other, book companies. And you can even
Uh-huh.
get a Kindle book and have it sent to those companies too. So it kind of broadens your reach instead of just publishing it on Amazon KDP.
Right. Yeah, so you get more reach. That's a good idea.
It even helps you, format the cover and the interior too, because that can be difficult if you're new to make your own interior for books.
Right. Well, and when I worked in publishing, right when I got out, they were starting to use computer formatting, and we used a program called Quark, which still
Hmm.
exists, but it's expensive. So, it's really helpful to have a service that can format it for you so you're not having to pay so much money for the software.
One of my first jobs out of college was I was laying out catalogs in Quark.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
when they switched over InDesign, I was so thankful because InDesign was a lot more user friendly.
Yeah, I loved Quark, but there was definitely a big learning curve, and it was just so expensive. Like at the time with my husband's accident and everything, there was no way I could afford that.
Oh, yes.
And that just in itself, like just book publishing with KDP and stuff, you think about what you used to have to go through to try to get a book published. I think that Harry Potter was rejected 34 or 35 times before it was finally accepted at publishers. Like,
Hmm.
it's just crazy. It makes you wonder how many books that were really, really good don't exist because the publishing companies wouldn't accept them.
Yeah, you're really, really right. Because when I was in high school, I didn't publish it, but but it was before self-publishing existed. Well, I made a book. It was like a storybook about koalas in Australia. And it really taught a lot of lessons. I also illustrated all myself with the Prismacolor pencils and watercolor. 'Cause at the time, I was an award-winning watercolor and pencil artist. Like my art had been featured in museums and private collectors, and that's how I was able to pay for a lot of my college was my sales of my artwork. And I published it. I mean, I didn't publish it, but I keep saying publish, but I made this whole book. I wrote it and I sent it off to publishing companies, and nobody would publish it. My dad gave me like a whole book from a bookstore of all the places to send it off to, but nobody accepted it. I
Yes,
don't even know what happened to it. I lost it.
my grandmother gave me a very similar book. She actually self-published in like the 50s or 60s. She wrote this book. Um, Now I can't remember the number. It was 56 zucchini recipes. And she had it like she typed it on a typewriter and then she had it photocopied and bound at like a whatever place existed, like Kinko's back, but way back before Kinko's. And it was just a stapled little paper book, and she sold it in the backs of magazines. And that actually, I rewrote that book with keto recipes because my oldest son is diabetic, and all her original recipes, but then the low carb versions as well. And I just recently republished that one. But there was a way to self-publish, but it was it was not easy.
Oh yeah, now it's like super easy. Yeah, I've self-published over 50 books now.
Oh wow.
Like it's really simple on Amazon KDP. This is my first draft to digital book.
Mhm. How do you like it compared to KDP? Because I have several on KDP myself.
Yeah, I kind of like it a lot more because draft to digital will give you a free ISBN 2 that you
Mhm.
could use to sell in multiple places. But if you get one on Amazon KDP, it's only for Amazon. You can't sell it elsewhere. This gives you
Right,
more
unless you get the
options.
physical book.
Yeah, it gives you more options because it gives you an ISBN number.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm
And
gonna
it's
have to try
free,
that.
but Draft Digital just takes 10%.
Oh, that's good. Because yeah, Amazon takes a ton.
Yeah, so it's also sold at Amazon, so I will still get royalty payments, but it's all through Draft Digital.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that. Every time I
Okay.
talk to you, I get so many ideas.
Oh, yeah. And we need to like hang out more.
Yeah, we do. I'm gonna be like a billionaire if I hang out with you much longer.
Well, let's go ahead and ask those listening, like, is anyone out there afraid of AI replacing you? Are you ready to partner with it to unlock your next level? Well, you should, come to Amanda's summit. Like she's
Yes.
having a summit called the Online Income Playbook Summit.org. Again, the link to join is the Online Income Playbook Summit.org. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so I have so far 20 experts who are going to speak on making money online. And they have, I mean, it is just amazing the number of topics that we've got. One lady who is a digital nomad who travels the world and she makes money from that. We have people who are telling you how to do all kinds of different things with AI, make like AI digital twins. Your talk is about AI systems,
Mm-hmm.
how to use AI for your ads, and then things like Facebook ads, how to maximize that, how to use those without spending a whole lot of money, how to market on social media, how to um, sell on eBay, like, but make really good money. One couple, the Stevensons, they are called Flea Market Flippers, their business name. They only sell on eBay for half the year. They take the summers off and they travel around with their kids
Mm-hmm.
and they make like $100,000 a year just from that part of their business, from selling things on eBay. And then they take the rest of the year off and travel, and they do business coaching as well. But it's just amazing, like how to stand out on social media, how to start a creative career if you are good at music, just a lot of different things, like really something for pretty much anyone who wants to learn how to start making money online. um, Digital products, just I could just go on and on and on. Like it's hard for I've done so many different interviews in the past week. It's hard to explain. It's kind of giving me shiny object syndrome because everybody's so good and their businesses sound so great. So everybody, I'm like, oh, maybe I should try that business. Maybe I should start this. And it's going to give you so many ideas. If you're somebody who has been wanting to work on, like, make money online as a side hustle, or wanting to work from home or work for yourself, tons of ways to do that. And even if you just want to make extra money, you want extra money coming in online while you go do your regular job, there are all kinds of ways to find out. And every single expert has a free gift that they're giving away. So you're going to get so many courses and ebooks and checklists and things like that for free that you can actually take and implement right after the interview.
Yeah, for instance, my freebie is going to be the Business Systems Made Easy course. I usually sell that for $147, but you'll get it as part of my gift for the summit.
Yes, so valuable, and I'm so grateful for you to you for doing that.
When does it start?
August 4th, and it will air every day for about an hour until August 17th.
Oh, awesome. Well, I'll have a link to the summit in the show notes. If you go to BeckyBeachShow.com, I'll have a link to all Amanda's information, like her website, her social media, and also a link to join her summit. Well, thanks so much for being here again, Amanda. Do you have any last words for our listeners?
Keep your mind open to possibilities. Like, look for what's possible instead of being afraid of what's happening. Look at what's going on and think, what can I do with this? What can I make from this? Because you can make something from it. You're going to be able to find a new opportunity. If you start looking at things like that, you're not going to believe the amount of opportunities you're going to find.
Okay, hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Make sure to go to the show notes at BeckyBeachShow.com. Have a great day. Goodbye. Thanks so much for listening to the Becky Beach Show. Please check out the show notes at BeckyBeachShow.com and my membership, BusinessBeachClub.com, to start and scale your own digital product business. Have a great day. See you next time on the Becky Beach Show.